Look at the price of a house. In 1970, the average American home cost $24,000. Today, that same home costs over $400,000. You have been told this is inflation. You have been told that prices are simply going up. This is a lie. Prices are not going up. The value of your currency is collapsing. If you measure that same house in gold, the price has remained remarkably stable for 50 years. In 1970, a house cost around 600 ounces of gold. Today, it still costs roughly 600 ounces of gold. The house did not change. The land did not change. The ruler you use to measure value has been cut into pieces while you were sleeping. This is the shrinking ruler effect. Imagine trying to build a skyscraper with a meter that gets 1 centimeter shorter every single year. The building would eventually collapse, and no one would understand why. You are working harder, running faster, and producing more, yet the finish line moves further away every time you get close. You are not failing. The system is designed to liquidate your labor before you can even spend it. To understand why this is happening, you must understand the Cantillon Effect. Named after the 18th century banker Richard Cantillon, this principle describes the unfair distribution of new money. When a central bank prints $1 billion, that money does not enter the economy equally. It enters through the top. It goes to the big banks. It goes to the government. It goes to the massive corporations. These institutions get the new money first. Crucially, they get to spend it before prices have risen to reflect the new supply. They buy the real estate. They buy the stocks. They buy the hard assets. By the time that money trickles down to your salary, the prices of everything you need to survive have already adjusted upwards. You are the last recipient of the currency. You receive the diluted, debased version of the dollar after its purchasing power has been siphoned off by the people closest to the printer. This is not a conspiracy. This is the technical architecture of fiat currency. It is a massive, silent wealth transfer from the poor and the middle class to the asset-holding elite. It is a tax that was never voted on. Everything changed in 1971. On August 15th, Richard Nixon suspended the convertibility of the dollar into gold. He promised it would be temporary. It became the most permanent lie in human history. This was the moment the world moved from hard money to an experimental software update based on debt. Look at the charts. Since 1971, productivity and wages have diverged in a way that defies all previous economic logic. Before 1971, as workers became more efficient, their pay increased in lockstep. After 1971, productivity continued to skyrocket while real wages flattened. The gap between those two lines is where your wealth went. It was absorbed by the expansion of the money supply. It was swallowed by the cost of living. We became a society of debt slaves because the currency no longer rewards saving. It rewards borrowing to buy assets that the central bank will eventually inflate. If you save money today, you are a loser by design. The system punishes the prudent and rewards the reckless. This is the great decoupling, and it is the reason why a single income could support a family in 1970, but two incomes can barely pay the rent today. The trap is now visible. You cannot work your way out of a debasing currency. No raise, no promotion, and no side hustle can outrun a printer that operates at the speed of light. To survive, you must stop thinking in currency and start thinking in units. You must move your labor out of soft money and into hard assets. Soft money is anything that can be created at zero cost by a politician. Dollars, euros, yen. These are liabilities, not assets. Hard money is anything with a high cost of production and a finite supply. real estate, gold, and the most mathematically perfect asset ever discovered, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the first global, decentralized ledger that cannot be debased by the Cantillon Effect. It is 21 million units of absolute scarcity in a world of infinite dilution. When you buy a hard asset, you are opting out of the wealth transfer. You are fixing your ruler. You are telling the systems that your time and your energy cannot be stolen. The middle class is dying because it continues to play a game with rigged rules. The exit is right in front of you. Stop measuring your net worth in a currency that is programmed to hit zero. Start measuring it in assets that the world cannot create more of. The system is not broken. It is working perfectly. It is time for you to stop being the fuel and start being the architect of your own escape. Disconnect from the debt. Reclaim your value. Exit the fiat trap.